This session is on sharing the gospel, and for some of us as evangelists, we hear this and go, yeah, that's fantastic, let's go. However, for some, it can feel much more daunting and scary because we feel underqualified. We feel as if the words don't come naturally to us, or we shy away from it because we don't want to feel embarrassed about what our friends, family, or even strangers may say about this personal thing called our faith. And yet, in the Bible, Jesus talks about the Great Commission, and he tells the disciples to go to the ends of the world to make disciples and baptize them in his name. And so it feels quite a juxtaposition of what many of us may be feeling in church, under-equipped and underqualified, versus this direct commission to go into the world and make disciples. I think, though, if we hold evangelism and mission on a pedestal on its own, then I think it can feel quite daunting. It can feel quite scary. However, if we actually recognise it as part of what we're already doing, part of our lifestyle, our faith pattern of if we are regularly praying, if we are regularly worshipping Monday to Friday, not just on a Sunday, if we are regularly seeking the Holy Spirit into our daily lives, then actually this evangelism and mission, this sharing our faith lives with others is going to be less daunting, because we should, in theory, be more naturally doing it. If we are reading our Bible regularly, praying regularly during the week, then hopefully that will be kind of rubbing off on those around us, that they'll be aware that we have a prayer time at a certain time in the day, or that we go off and read our Bibles for a bit, or actually, dare I say, that we might be getting excited by some of the stuff that we're doing, some of the prayers that we're doing, some of the reading of the Bible that we're doing. And that just like a favourite TV show or a favourite film, that once we see it, we might talk about it and say, hey, did you catch that on the TV the other day? Then in the same way, we're going to be saying the same about our faith and saying, oh wow, I found this really funny bit in the Bible. There are some. Or this really profound bit, or this really challenging bit. We're naturally likely to be talking about it. And therefore, if we are more God-focused in our faith pattern and more inviting of the Holy Spirit into all of the activities and not just the Sunday ones, then hopefully this sharing the gospel will come more naturally. Not in large and bold ways, just in the small one-to-one conversations, in the small little snippets of conversations, or in our lifestyle change. If that is still terrifying us, it is okay. Because I think God also calls us to use our own gifts and abilities, those that we do feel confident and passionate about. For some of us, we might see the injustices of the world and want to stand up for social action, to speak up for the voiceless. I think God can use that for sharing the gospel. We may have even more abstract ideas and hobbies of oil painting or crocheting or, I don't know, model railway enthusiasts. The list is really extensive, but we could use those hobbies for the gospel too. It might not be in an obvious way. It might require a lot of prayer and thought and conversations with like-minded Christian people, but there might actually be an opportunity to share using your own gifts, your own passions and your own confidences to share the gospel in old ways, yes, but it might be in new ways too. So I invite us today to think about sharing the gospel. How are we feeling about sharing the gospel today? When it comes to sharing the gospel or witnessing, I would like to share 10 points with you. The first is take one step at a time. Don't try to run before you can walk. Don't try to walk before you can crawl. Just one step at a time. Second is to reflect on your own journey, to reflect on your own faith. Before we even start to communicate about it with others, think about it. What does it mean for ourselves? What does our faith mean to us? And try to use non-churchy words. The third point is to recognise whose strength we're doing this in. We can often feel it's all down to us, but actually this is God's mission,
And it's actually in God's strength we do all these things. It's just up to us to lean into him, to seek his guidance. So therefore, point number 4 is to pray. Be prayerful. Seek the Holy Spirit to equip us, to join us, to lead us in God's mission. Point number 5 is to be aware of our own gifts and abilities. Sometimes God is going to call us to use those as part of this mission, this witness. Other times he may use things that seem foreign to us. That's okay too. Point number 6 is to be genuine, to be authentic. Don't try to be somebody that we're not. Try to recognise the limitations that we face. We might not have all the answers. That's okay. The most important thing is to be genuine, to be authentic. Number 7 is to continue to pray. I've said it once already. We need to ground our mission, our outwards sharing of the gospel in prayer. Continue to pray for the practicalities. Pray for the right person to come along. Or if somebody's already on our heart, continue to pray for that person. Pray that there might be the right situation just to share, or for someone else to share. Because again, it's not just all about us, it's about God and about his mission. He may already be working with that person through someone else, but it's good to pray, yeah? 8, be prepared to be open. Be prepared to learn, to share, to use a lot of energy, to love, to sacrifice. Number 9, it's about planting seeds. Again, it's in the small things, not in the big stuff. It's handing over the harvest over to God. The small plants and their potential, the small conversations, the small scattering of God. It's just in the small things. And so don't worry, don't feel daunted by it. We are simply called to just share the seed. That is all. Once we have all these things in our minds, 1 to 9, and we've thought about them, we've digested them, we've pondered them, we've considered them, the last point is quite an important one. The final one, after we've done all these things, is to simply get out of bed.
As we conclude this session, I hope we can see that each of these sessions, each of these elements can form an important part of our Christian faith pattern, not just for our own journeys, but also can help us in sharing our faith with those around us. I just want to say thank you for taking part in this course. I hope it's been helpful, and I just pray that you can be a blessing to all that you are called to this day and always. Thank you for taking part. God bless. Goodbye.